Today's story is IQ Goes to the Library. Monday. On Monday, our teacher, Mrs. Ferber, said, "Students, this is library week. Every day this week, our class will be going to the library." IQ had never been to the library. He didn't want to stay behind the classroom. He wanted to go with the other students. Mrs. Binder, the librarian, welcomed the class. "Today is reading corner day," she said. "Come have a seat by the big chair, and I will read a book to you." The story made IQ laugh until his eyes watered and his tail curled. He wanted to take the book back to the classroom with him. Mrs. Binder explained that books had to be checked out. "Class," she said, "if you complete a permission slip, I will give you a library card. Then you can check out a book." IQ wanted to check out the funny book Mrs. Binder had just read, but the book had already been reshelved. The library was such a large place. IQ was glad he still had 4 days to find a funny book. On Tuesday, IQ came ready to explore the library. There were rows and rows of videos, CDs, DVDs, audio cassettes, magazines, puppets, and newspapers. And there were so many books. Some books have hard covers and some have paper covers. Some are easy readers and others have long chapters in small print. There were books on shelves and books on racks that spun. "Today is Papa Day," announced Mrs. Binder. "Who will like to help me with the puppets?" IQ raised his paw first. The puppet fits perfectly. As Mrs. Binder read the book, IQ acted out. When the story was over, it was time to go back to the classroom. IQ counted on his paw. Only 3 days left to find the book. On Wednesday, IQ went to the book area marked non-fiction. He was amazed at all the different topics. In the biography section, IQ found a book on famous rodents. It looked interesting, but he thought the book Mrs. Binder had read on the first day was funnier. He decided to keep looking for it. "Could everyone come over to the audio tape?" asked Miss Binder. "This is book on tape day." IQ liked the earphones. They were very comfortable. Soon the story was over and IQ realized it was time to go. He was getting worried. There were only 2 days left to find a funny book. On Thursday, IQ discovered a section of book marked fiction. He realized the books all have stories invented by the author. Some had drawings of them, some had photographs, and some only had words. IQ liked the picture books the best. They made him feel big. When he was done with the book, he was careful to put it back exactly where he found it. Mrs. Binder gathered all the students at the table. "Today is bookmark day. Bookmarks help you mark your place in a book without ruining it. You each can make one." IQ had some problems making his bookmark. By the time he had unstuck his tail, Mrs. Ferber had come to fetch the class. Most of the other students have already checked out a book. IQ had only 1 day left to find his book and get a library card. On Friday, when the class came to the library, Mrs. Binder said, "Today is computer day. It is also our last day of library week." Mrs. Binder showed the students how she used a computer to find a book. When she was done, IQ scrambled on a try. IQ pushed the mouse until where he wanted it, then he jumped on the mouse to make it click. Next, he danced on the keys to type in the title of the book he wanted. Finally, all the information he needed wrote on the screen. He wrote it down and hurried on the shelf. At last, IQ had found the funny book. The tricky part was getting the book onto Mrs. Binder's desk. Carefully, he filled out the permission slip for the library card. But there on the bottom was a line that said parent guardian signature. IQ didn't know what to do. Just then the bell rang and Mrs. Ferber came to get her class. IQ felt terrible. He was the only student without a book or library card. "Excuse me, Mrs. Ferber," said Mrs. Binder. "I have a book and complete permission slip here." Mrs. Ferber looked at the name of the permission slip. "Since I take care of him, I guess it's his guardian." "I can sign that," she said. Like you being for Whisker to Whisker, and Mrs. Binder made him a library card. He wrote his name on it very neatly so everyone would know it was his. On Saturday, IQ was alone all day in the classroom, but for once he didn't mind. He read his book over and over, laughing until his eyes watering and his tail curled. On Sunday, he imagined all about other things he would check out with his new library card. The end.